USSD debt. Subscribers, bank, telcos agree on airtime billing. US recovers 225 million US dollars stolen in crypto scam. Low funding vandalism limits TCN power transmission efforts. And Bank of Industry reaffirms support for 12 million artisans. Security agency NigComSat partner to tackle insecurity. NDDC denies irregularities in Calabar projects. Cash crunch looms over CBN's 50% CRR on banks, says a new report, which is the cash reserve ratio. 22 oil workers died on duty last year, says the federal government. And of course, we have the NUPRC unveils guidelines to block oil theft and others. Equities market gained 1.18 trillion naira in oil insurance boost. Plus, President Tinubu to address energy experts in South Africa. Electricity firms slow on digital adoption, says the NESG. And of course, market consult foreign traders for cheaper fuel import. As marketers consult foreign traders for cheaper fuel import. These and many more are some of the top trending stories happening in the world of business today, as we do it to bring to you some more details shortly on the program. Now, before we do that, first let's go to take a short break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at activities of the commodity market and also bring you up to speed with updates coming from the money market. Bright tomorrow, miss my name saying welcome to the program, but stay tuned as we go on a short break. Welcome back from that short break. It's still the program Business Connect, reaching you live from the oil-rich city of Warri on the stables of Rice 106.7. Now let's bring to you the activities of the commodity market. The West Texas Intermediate crude oil today is currently being sold at $69.60 per barrel. It's currently up by $1.36, and that's a percentage increase of 1.95%. The Brent crude oil today is at $67.45 per barrel. It's currently up by $3.22, a percentage increase of 4.21%. Natural gas is down by 2.67% while trading at $3.85 per MBTU. And for gold, it's a downward trend, dropping 0.29%, trading at $3,386.60 per ounce. For silver, it's up by 1.92%, trading at $37.09. Copper is being traded at $4.80, dropping 0.58%. And these are the prevailing rate of the commodity market this very Thursday morning, the 19th day of the month of June, the year 2025. Now let's move over now to the activities of the money market as we bring to you now the exchange rate for the US dollar, British pounds, the euro, and the Canadian dollar. The US dollar today has been bought at 1,590 naira while being sold at 1,600 naira. For the British pounds, we have it at 2,140 naira while being sold at 2,160 naira. For the euro, we have it at 1,780 naira while being sold at 1,800 naira. For the Canadian dollar, we have it at 1,150 naira while being sold at 1,200 naira. And these are the prevailing rate of different currencies today at the parallel market has been exchanged to the naira. Now we'll move away from that. Now we go to look at some of our top trending stories happening in the world of business today, with so much to munch and so much to talk about. Let's kickstart the show with a topic bordering on power vandalism. Low funding vandalism limits TCN power transmission effort. And who's saying, given this statement, this is coming from Dari, who's also reporting this news for the Ministry of Power. Transmission Company of Nigeria, the backbone of the national power system, is left prostrate by unfunding or underfunding and vandalism as Nigeria strives to improve its electricity supply. The ambition of the federal government for grid expansion and national electrification face a medley of challenges threatening the stability of the country's transmission infrastructure. The state-owned TCN is currently facing challenges limiting its ability to wield more power to the masses as aging infrastructure, vandalism, and funding gaps remain major hindrances to the power sector. The national transmission grid connects more than 29 generation companies to 12 distribution firms via the 330 kV and 132 kV lines. It also links the neighboring countries Niger, Togo, and Benin Republic. Now, with the TCN having challenged the need to supply power to Nigeria, it's not facing a huge challenge. The TCN is the sole manager of this high voltage network, which serves as the primary conduit for the movement of bulk electricity across Nigeria. Despite its significance, the grid is in distress and the various challenges continue to impede optimal performance for the sector. At the recent Senate Committee retreat in Akwa Ibom, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Sule Abdulaziz, laid bare the struggles of the transmission line segment of the country's power sector, offering candid insight into the reality facing the nation's transmission network. Its presentation at the forum revealed a sector grappling with operational paralysis caused by recurring sabotage, obsolete equipment, financial constraints, as well as regulatory bottlenecks. Between January and March this year, 2025 alone, Abdulaziz disclosed that over 109 transmission towers were vandalized across Nigeria, crippling supply to several regions. The Port Harcourt region suffered the heaviest blow, with 62 towers brought down in 13 separate incidents. The Enugu, Kano, and Abuja regions were not spared, either recording dozens of damages of structures. In 2024 and 2025, these have been the worst years of the TCN in terms of transmission lines vandalism. A total of 86 towers were vandalized in 2024, while 26 of which were completely brought down. In several states, this led to total power blackouts lasting days and even weeks, he noted. According to him, the absence of strong deterrent and slow judicial response have emboldened vandalism in the country, with the TCN now pushing for life imprisonment sentences for convicted offenders. Even as Nigeria pushes for more generation capacity, TCN aging infrastructure remains a major constraint in achieving sufficient power supply to the masses. The MD noted that several substations still operate with decades-old transformers and control systems. Transmission lines are overloaded and many are in dire need of reconductory process. Aging grid infrastructure with high losses is not just a technical issue, it is a national security threat, Abdulaziz added. He stated that procurement delays and a painful slow import clearance process have also compounded the problem. He stressed that transmission equipment often gets stuck at the ports for months due to bureaucratic bottlenecks around import duty exemption certificates. Abdulaziz told State Committee that TCN financial woes were deepened by the failure of the electricity distribution companies to settle their debts. The MD lamented that the several critical projects have been stalled due to lack of funds, regretting that many low-hanging fruits projects, those nearing completion, remain in limbo as they are not prioritized in DISCO's budget. Adding that there are so many investments already tied down with no timeline for completion simply because of funding challenges. The engineer mentioned that legacy projects awarded more than 2 decades ago remain unfinished due to chronic underfunding. Legacy projects awarded over 20 years ago are still ongoing and need adequate funding to complete. Low-hanging fruit projects are also among those that have reached meaningful percentage of completion but have budgetary constraints and are not among the projects the DISCO identified as priority. Hence, a lot of investment are tied down and cannot therefore be completed, he explained. Now, these are the barrage of challenges bedeviling the power sector, even though this particular analysis focused more on the transmission company of Nigeria, looking at the transmission value chain. But of course, these challenges, as we can see inherent in the transmission value chain, is already overwhelming, let alone bringing the challenges inherent in the distribution value chain as well as the generation value chain. Moving away from that story now, let's touch down on the Bank of Industry reaffirmation to support 12 million artisans. The Bank of Industry has restated its commitment to empowering Nigerian artisans and technicians, describing them as the foundation of inclusive economic development and a key pillar in the country's industrial transformation. Speaking at the 2025 Nigerian Artisan Leadership Summit held on Wednesday in Abuja, the managing director of the Bank of Industry, Olusukpo Olusi, said the bank sees Nigerians over 12 million artisans not just as workers but as agents of grassroots enterprise, job creation, and national progress. The summit themed Unlocking the Inherent Potential of Nigeria's Artisans and Technicians drew participants from artisan associations, government agencies, government partners, and the private sector. It focused on identifying the challenges faced by informal workers and creating a roadmap for integrating them into the formal economy. Represented by the Executive Director of Public Sector and Intervention Programs, Mabel Undagi, the Bank of Industry chief said the theme reflects the essence of inclusive growth, ensuring no skill is left behind. He noted that further, the theme speaks to a vision of Nigeria where talent is not wasted due to lack of support, where enterprise is not stifled by lack of access, and where information skills are not excluded from the formal opportunities. According to the Bank of Industry's MD, the challenges faced by artisans, such as limited access to affordable finance, lack of research and development, outdated equipment, inadequate training, poor business structures, and minimal export participation, require urgent and structured intervention. The address to the industry was timely to address some of the challenges being faced by artisans in Nigeria. Now, to address these systemic issues, he explained that the bank is anchoring its 2025 and 2027 corporate strategy on 6 thematic pillars. These include strengthening micro, small, and medium enterprises, promoting youth empowerment and skill development, expanding opportunities within the digital economy, advancing climate resilience and sustainability. Initiatives that would also improve artisanship in the country are to be encouraged, investing in critical infrastructure and ensuring gender inclusion across all interventions. These focus areas are not just bureaucratic categories, they are lenses through which we are re-imaging support for the artisan and grassroots entrepreneurs, Olusi noted. He underscored Bank of Industry's mission to provide both financial and advisory support to the Nigerian enterprises that sustain local economies and catalyze national growth. I think this is a good step being taken by the Bank of Industry there, supporting artisan. Most importantly, among these solutions being brought to bear is the fact that there's the need for improve and innovative ideas for these artisans. Yes, they've got certain ideas already that may have been outdated, which they are utilizing to carry out their jobs and services, but improving that will mean you give them some new improved solution or ideas to better what they are already doing. Again, in addition to that, another area that is important to look into when supporting artisan or local entrepreneur is the issue to access or financing. Affordable financing should be made available to these guys. But good thing, those outlining these solutions are actually capable of handling the solution, referring to the Bank of Industry with the financial capacity to do the needful in terms of affordable financing. On the topic of security agencies, NigComSat partner to tackle insecurity. The Defense Headquarters, Nigeria Police Force, and other key security agencies have partnered with the Nigerian Communications Satellite Limited to deploy satellite technology in addressing the country's pressing security issues. The collaboration was highlighted during the launch of the second phase of the NigComSat Accelerator program, which took place in Abuja on Wednesday. The event saw the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, underline the importance of space technology in combating Nigeria's growing security challenges. Musa, represented by the Air Vice Marshal Vincent Agui, the Chief of Defense Transformation and Innovation at the Defense Headquarters, noted that the satellite asset would play a crucial role in military operations aimed at tackling insurgents, terrorists, kidnappers, and other criminal groups threatening national stability. For the Armed Forces of Nigeria, this NigComSat event translates to an opportunity to deepen partnership with innovators who can help build tools and systems that enhance national resilience and security, Musa said. He also praised the focus on artificial intelligence, space technology, and digital transformation, emphasizing that these areas are fundamental to the future of Nigeria's defense and security architecture. I am particularly pleased with the emphasis on AI, space technology, and digital transformation. These areas are critical domains that will define the future of our defense and security architecture, he noted. As threats become more systemic and asymmetric as well as complex, our response must be more intelligent, data-driven, and adaptive. Therefore, our investment in innovation must be seen not just as economic initiative but as strategic imperatives. In this regard, the Armed Forces of Nigeria reaffirmed its readiness to collaborate with technology-based enterprises, research creation of a solution to the needs of security in the country. And all of these would culminate into better security for Nigerians. Okay, I wouldn't see this partnership as something that ought to be new, because I would have expected that prior to now the security agency already having serious partnership with research institute, with information technology expert, with enterprise, with that got a lot of idea with AI. So having this news come on board, maybe more addition to read, but I think prior to now this should have been the case, such that the satellite information, the space information being generated by such enterprises, whether Nigerian owned or private owned, can be supplied to the security agency to help better their job. because this is the only way we can look at providing security in such a way that we are proactive. Because when you have this research-based data being provided by security experts, it helps improve their job, it helps improve their proactiveness, and overall, once security is available, businesses and investment would thrive. Now let's go to the report where the NDDC denies irregularities in Calabar projects. The chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission Governing Board, Chiedu Ebie, has expressed concern over false narratives regarding the recently commissioned road project in Calabar South and Calabar Municipality local government areas of Cross River State. Speaking during the NDDC at 25 celebration and commissioning of project held in Bayelsa State, Ebie cautioned against politicizing developmental efforts, describing such action as counterproductive to the progress of the Niger Delta region. In a statement on Wednesday, Ebie stated that all NDDC projects, including those in Calabar, adhered to due process from procurement to execution, allowed the contractors and commission staff for maintaining high standard of professionalism and compliance with regulatory procedures. He said the NDDC executed the project in the best, result. Now, the clarification comes in response to claims made by the NDDC board member representing Cross River State, Orok Duke, who had alleged that the Calabar project neither followed due process nor were executed by the NDDC. Ebie dismissed this assertion as misleading and urged stakeholders to focus on facts and support the Commission's effort to deliver quality infrastructure and sustainable development across the Niger Delta region. Quickly, let's touch down on the cash crunch loom that is coming on the way. Now, cash crunch looms over CBN's 50% cash reserve ratio on banks. Ahead of the next month Monetary Policy Committee meeting, a new research noted by the Renaissance Capital has revealed that Nigeria's banking sector is facing a severe liquidity crunch following the bank's new directive on 50% cash reserve ratio coming from the CBN. A move, analyst says, the odd is not currently in favor of many of the banks as a result of this new policy. A new report by investment bank Renaissance Capital has warned that the higher cash reserve ratio requirement, described as the highest in the world, has significantly restricted banks' ability to lend, threatening credit growth and turning market sentiment on Nigerian banks from bullish to bearish in the short term. The research notes that several efforts being made to reduce or control inflation, which also include reducing the amount of cash in circulation while reserving more cash with the central bank, is also affecting the economy one way or another. And in this light, the banks are now constrained with regards to making funds available for lending. When you also look at the lending part as well, the cost of capital for getting this money from the bank is also on the high side. So therefore, the general businesses across Nigeria, they are having a tough time accessing funds for financing. But the CBN has said this is in a bid to control inflation. This is where we'll leave it today. Of course, tomorrow being Friday, I'll be right here with another interesting package of the show, Business Connect. That's the much that we could take today. Of course, do it to join us same time, same station when we come your way again. Bright Amalgam is my name. Signing out of the show is saying, have yourself a wonderful Thursday morning and stay blessed.
You're listening to Rise FM. Keep it loud, keep it loud, keep it loud.